Today I'm going to demo and share the vision for ModelMetrics.ai. We built this because after building 6 AI-powered apps of our own, we realized there's a big difference between hacking together a demo and creating actual production-grade AI-powered apps for real users. So what we wanted was a place to centrally store all of our AI actions, all of our prompts, a way to iterate these prompts over time, then deploy them and A/B test different prompts, different models, different model parameters, monitor each AI action to understand how much it costs and whether it's performing, and then close the loop to figure out how our end users are reacting to this content and use their reactions, use their feedback to inform our prompts and iterate them, make them better and better over time. And eventually use that whole system to fine-tune our own models and compare the fine-tuned models against the more GPT-style models with our heavy prompts. So that is the vision. We're releasing for free the prompt designing tool at ModelMetrics.ai. It's available right now. You can use it. I'll demo this for you in a second. If you're interested in the deployment features, the optimizations, the refinements, the A/B testing, then reach out to me. My Calendly will also be at ModelMetrics.ai, and I look forward to speaking with you soon. All right, let's bust right into it. Okay, we've logged into ModelMetrics.ai, and this is the design tab. So we have all of our AI actions here on the left. We're going to zoom into transcript takeaways. This is a very simple prompt. All it does is take the transcript from a meeting and get the 5 key takeaways in JSON format, hopefully. The key here is that we can offer it different test samples. These are examples of the kinds of transcripts that you think your end users will have. Because what you want to do is run this prompt against the collection of sample data from your users. So the way you do this is you add variables in here. And as you add variables, that'll add the variables in your test samples down below. You can add more samples, as many as you want. I recommend at least 5 or 10 to really capture the breadth of the kinds of real data your prompt will be up against in the real world. And then when you hit run, it'll run these prompts using these model settings against these test samples. So here we go. You can see this is the history of our iterations and runs. This was the previous run. This is the current run. Immediately, I'm seeing that there's inconsistency in the kind of JSON formats here. So I probably want to adjust my prompt for that. And I can see how this prompt performs against different kinds of user data. I also have these auto tests here. So here we're making sure that the results are in fact proper JSON, which they are. So it passes each of those tests. We can also see the latency. So obviously, if I switch this from GPT-3 to GPT-4, it would take much more time and be much more expensive per run. So this is the design tab. Now let's go into analytics and optimization. Now we're on the analytics page, and here you can see the performance of your actions in the real world over time. You can see here we have 2 variants of the same action deployed. These could be 2 different prompts or the same prompt with different model settings, parameters. And you can see not just how they perform in terms of their usage, how often this action is used over time, but also cost. You can imagine GPT-3 versus GPT-4 costing very different amounts here, and efficacy, how your end users respond to the outputs provided by these actions, these prompts. We also offer stability control. So for example, let's say you have a prompt that needs to respond in JSON format. And almost all the time it does that, but sometimes it just doesn't because prompts are non-deterministic. And so what we offer is a way to capture that. So if it responds in something that's not JSON format, we see that, the auto test captures that, and we rerun the same prompt again, and we save that action. This next time it'll very likely be proper JSON. We use that for you. We can also do sampling for sentiment. This is good for capturing drift over time as models change when they upgrade. So for example, we can sample how joyful or how sad or how angry the output of the model is over time and make sure there's no drift in this performance over time. Okay, switching over to optimization. So here you can see the actual feedback by users to your prompt. So when a user is shown your output, they are shown a thumbs up or a thumbs down, like, dislike. You can also monitor for implicit reactions. For example, if you give them an output of their meeting notes and they click the copy to clipboard button, then it's implicit that they enjoyed, that they appreciated those takeaways that you gave them. And so you can see all their reactions to the completions that your model gave. And what this is good for is you can mark certain things as golden samples, which you can then use to fine tune your own large language model here and compare your fine tuning to these broader GPT style prompts. You can also mark things as test samples. So for example, if the user responded very negatively to what your prompt generated, it could be because what they had in their variables, like in their user data, in their transcript that you're summarizing, for example, just led to a really bad summary. And if that's the case, then you might want to add their variables, their test case, as a test sample for your prompt back in the design phase. So again, we're closing that loop and helping you iterate that prompt over time based on real world feedback. So whether you iterate your prompt over time and create better and better prompts, or you use that data to fine tune your own models for specific actions, either way, you're going to end up in a much better place. And that really depends how often the action is used and how complex the prompt is. I imagine if you have a set of 15, 20 different AI-powered actions in your app, maybe a handful of them you'll want to fine tune your own models around, and the other ones you'll want to keep in the general GPT-style prompts. So we give you all those tools. And again, if you're interested in these tools, go to ModelMetrics.ai and let's talk more.